Hi, I'm Ed Amoroso from Tag Cyber, and I'm sitting with my friend Francis Cianfrocca, who is the founder and CTO of Bayshore Networks. Did I get that right, Francis?
You sure did, Ed, as always.
It's great to see you.
Always great to be with you.
You betcha. Hey, IoT, industrial control, OT, this is
Yeah.
your area?
Yep.
So can you give us in a short sentence? No, just kidding.
I don't do short sentences.
All right, we can do it in a
we can do
few
it in
paragraphs.
bite-sized chunks, right?
Few
Short
paragraphs.
paragraphs.
How do you protect industrial control devices from cyber attacks? What's the approach?
Yeah. So the general approach with industrial systems, and we use this term OT, to distinguish from IT. It's operational technology. That's the stuff that industrial companies use to make cars and make gasoline and make electricity. The machines that they use, they're always been automated. They're computerized. They use the same kinds of networks. The issue now that you get is that people are connecting these environments back to IT systems because of the data. The data is incredibly valuable. I mean, there's a revolution in data going on in the world, and the industrial people want to participate. So now you've got all the apertures that are coming from the IT side and security risks, and you over a long career know a lot about how to protect IT assets. When you talk about protecting OT assets from similar threats, it's a totally different story because they were never designed for that kind of.
It used to be they were out of band, different protocols, different everything.
They still are different protocols.
But there's an interoperability now that creates the concern.
There's a convergence, I would say. I would say the people who run industrial plants, production systems, be they within factories or spread out all over, electric power grid. All right, they think in terms of isolation. That's how they're your question was, how do you secure them?
Right.
They think in terms of isolation and segmentation. Very, very sound, important approach. But as soon as you got network connectivity back to IT and even to cloud-based services, you've got openings for viruses and malware and other kinds of stuff, right? That for which I think of it sometimes like, the conquerors from Europe coming to the New World, bringing viruses that there was no immunity to.
Yeah.
You think about it, that's pretty much what's going on. And to protect it, I think, you think about how to protect IT environments, it's all about policing boundaries.
A lot of people watching think of IT security as protecting data, meaning I've got my customer records, sensitive data, blah, 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 and use encryption and other things to stop that. Is OT more about integrity of operation?
Yes.
Like I think more about a wind turbine going nuts because a hacker versus stealing telemetry from a wind turbine. Kind of who cares? Am I thinking about that right?
I
Maybe
would
somebody
say
does care. I would think it would have less street value than.
It's an interesting point of view, and I would say that there are three. First thing at the top of the list, which is most of it, is safety.
Of the threat list.
Of the things that you're trying to protect.
Got it.
And just underneath that is physical is process integrity. Okay. Underneath that, there is a notion of machine telemetry is valuable. And I can tell you, I make a distinction here because we've had the case. Just imagine you're a company that uses robots to make things, cars, for example. Okay, you would have a great deal of interest in allowing the company that makes your robots to get their hands on the robots so they can do predictive maintenance. You want them to get a certain amount of telemetry aggregation from that space. What you don't want them to do is to figure out how many cars you're making per hour. That's incredibly sensitive, and people care about that a great deal. So that leads to another kind of protective posture, which is subset the data. I'm going to allow telemetry aggregation from my environment, from my industrial environment, but I want to specify which data points go out and which don't.
That makes sense. Ted Koppel wrote a book about a year ago.
Great book. You introduced me to that book.
I thought it was worth reading. It's Ted Koppel, right? It's not written by somebody you never heard of. Pretty rough book, right? Lays out some scenarios in the power industry that were kind of frightening.
Yes,
I've talked to people on one hand who would say, no, that's not going to happen. Like a lot of folks who work in the area.
Yes, indeed.
I feel like there are not only controls, but that there are sort of natural points of separation, both technology-wise and architecturally, that wouldn't allow the kind of cascaded threat that Ted Koppel kind of implies. But Some of it seems feasible to me,
Yeah.
like the idea that you could destroy a transformer, through step voltage, just frying something.
Been done.
Seems like you could do that,
It's
right?
been done.
Yeah, and I don't see an easy way to fix it. Kind of where are you on that spectrum where one end it's like, oh my gosh, dive under the bed, we're all in trouble.
Oh, no.
And the other end
I'm not there.
is, relax, nothing's gonna. Kind of where's Francis Jimfroka
Yeah.
on that?
Well, we work quite a bit with electric power providers.
Yeah.
So, I'm kind of seeing it from the inside. And I will tell you, so I'm not at the dive under the bed stage.
Yeah.
However, I will tell you.
Probably not also at the it's no big deal stage either, right?
No, it is important.
Yeah.
So I would say that we have some known cases in the world where power systems, electric power systems, were successfully attacked.
Well, Ukraine, yeah.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
Well, think about it. How were they attacked? What were the vectors? And this is something that's true throughout industry, not just electric power. You have computers, ordinary computers, most likely running back versions of Windows, all right, that have numerous cyber vulnerabilities, and they are accessible from the outside.
Right.
And the vector isn't going to be a specific cyber attack against equipment. It's going to be plain old malware.
Yeah.
So the same kind of malware that you can use to infiltrate any Windows
And
machine.
there was malware. So
And-
0
that's
days,
right.
boom, took out.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
And so once you have a compromised host that's in a SCADA network or it has access to a control network, you're in. I mean, you can do whatever you want. And the thing that scares me the most, all right, and I don't want to overplay what I'm about to say, okay? But those attacks have already taken place and they are latent.
Yeah, right.
So the thing is, what I worry about is a moment of geopolitical tension and an attack that has been planned and in place and lying low right now could be triggered, and that worries me.
Hey, we got to get more positive here.
Yes, let's do that.
Let me ask you a fun question. Are you going to buy an autonomous car when they come out?
An autonomous car. I have an electric car. Okay.
Okay, that's
all right.
the first
Now you have
step.
to understand something,
That's
right?
cool.
Okay, so Ed, I'm a New Yorker, lived here in New York City for all my life, and never. I've in my pocket now, because I just moved to Research Triangle a few months ago. In my pocket, I have a North Carolina learner's permit. Okay, so I just bought my very first car in my life, and it is the Chevrolet Volt, which is the electric, electric car.
So back to the first question: are you going to be one? I'm trying to get at whether you're an early adopter.
Oh,
or
I would totally drive the autonomous car.
Wait
a minute, I said that wrong. I'm not driving the autonomous car. I'll be in it. Absolutely.
But a lot of times when people do what you do and understand the detailed problems that exist in industrial control and OT, a lot of times, when you work in the back room of a restaurant and then you say, I'll never eat at a restaurant again. Do you have any of that fear?
No.
Or do you feel like, no, these OTs
not with autonomous. Let me give you another example. Something that's, there's something called positive train control.
Yeah.
In the rail transport industry. This is a government mandate, and what it basically amounts to is a great big kill switch.
Yeah.
Okay, and it involves a lot of communication between railroad trains, particularly locomotives, and wayside equipment using near field radio. Mm-hmm. Okay, so the goal is to prevent accidents like you had, the unfortunate accident that had fatalities. Your question was, would I be an early adopter?
Would you trust?
Yeah, I would. I've got enough analysis of the security, that they're doing a good job with it. Most industrial systems are so legacy. All right, when you encounter them, the best you can do is say, that's what it is. It's not going to change. There's the IT/OT convergence. Let's protect the interconnects, and that's the best you can do in a lot of environments. But with positive train control, they've actually done it in a much better way. And I think we've got a mutual friend in the electric power industry that's thinking the same way.
Yeah. Hey, now that you're down in North Carolina, you come back up and see us every now and then?
Absolutely.
You promise to come up, we'll do some more.
We'll do this anytime you want.
I wish you well at Bayshore.
Absolutely.
And in all of your work, and really appreciate everything you do for our industry.
Thank you so much.
Such a delight to talk to you.
All right.
Great.
Thanks, always Francis. Great.
We'll see you next time.